Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, we're going to preview this Week 4 matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This 2025 slate is a gauntlet on the Eagles' schedule here this year, and this is yet another fantastic matchup. The Birds 3-0, the Bucs 3-0, and the stage is set. All going down at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa on Sunday. September 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern is the kickoff, so it's going to be in that early afternoon window, yet this is still going to be the Fox game of the week, and it should be, because across the entire NFL Week 4 schedule, this is one of the marquee matchups. Now, Philadelphia struggled a lot against the Bucs in recent memory under Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, but even as the road team, the Birds, 3.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 43.5 for all of the bettors out there. And now it's prediction time. I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Who wins this ball game between two NFC heavyweights here? Type PHI for the Eagles, TB for the Buccaneers. I want to hear from you. And with that, let's get this preview underway right now. My name is Chase Sr. Welcome into the show. I appreciate all of you for hanging out here with me. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. And the Birds, they are a ratings juggernaut. Anytime they are on TV, especially in a national spot, they are driving ratings. And that is once again going to be the case on Sunday, as this is the game of the week once again. And the Eagles' struggles against the Buccaneers have been well documented. Here's a look at the last 5 matchups between Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. And of course, we know what happened in the early 2000s, the final game at Veterans Stadium in the NFC Championship game. Everybody thought, including me, that the Eagles were going to finally punch their ticket to the Super Bowl, but John Gruden's team able to shock the Birds at the Vet in South Philly. And from that point moving forward, this has become a really good matchup inside the NFC. And in these last 5 games, you look at how the Eagles have lost. There has been a consistent pattern, and a lot of these games have been blowouts with Tampa Bay winning. September 29th, 2024, that was last year, Week 4 with Philadelphia going into the bye. A listless, really ugly loss for Philadelphia, 33-16. There was a point where the Bucs had like more than 230 yards to start the game, and the Eagles had 0. They couldn't really do anything on either side of the ball. And then you think back to the wild card round, 2023 season, calendar year 2024, January 15th, Philadelphia losing 32-9. That was when the Eagles really struggled at the end of the year in 2023, losing 6 of 7. And that was an embarrassing loss. The Eagles did beat the Buccaneers earlier that year, funny enough, 25-11. But then you look at these other 2 losses. Another playoff defeat, 31-15. That was when Tom Brady took down Jalen Hurts in his first year as the full-time starter. That was Nick Sirianni's first full season as the Eagles head coach, 2021 season, 2022 calendar year. And then October 14th of 2021, Tom Brady still the quarterback for the Bucs, a 28-22 loss for the Birds. And the Eagles are also 1-6 in their last 7 games against the Buccaneers dating back to 2015. It's felt as though they have met up a lot in recent memory. We just showed you an example of that. They have. It is the truth. And the Eagles are looking to right their wrongs against the team that has really been a thorn in their sides. And when that happens, you have to try to do something different. You have to try to pull out all of the stops to get ready for a team that has owned you, that has been the Eagles' daddy of late, because Todd Bowles has had the answers for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts on offense. But you also try to plan a little bit differently, especially preparing for the weather, which for a Northeastern team traveling down to Tampa in the month of September with the temperature and the humidity, it becomes a very difficult place to play, because you think back to training camp, right? The Eagles were used to humidity then, but they haven't had to deal with temperatures and weather conditions like that for a little while. And so Tampa becomes a really hard place to play for places that aren't dealing with those types of humid temperatures all the time. And so John Clark, with this report on Monday, he is told that the Eagles are changing their travel schedule to Tampa this year. They are going a day ahead of schedule on Friday to acclimate to the heat. They may have a workout in Tampa on Saturday. And as we know, the Eagles not playing well against the Bucs in recent memory. They have lost 3 of their last 4 on the road against the Buccaneers, and even at Lincoln Financial Field, supposed to be the friendly confines, Philadelphia struggled against the Buccaneers at the Link as well. And with this game being 1 p.m. Eastern, that also plays a role, right? Because that's when the sun is out for the entire duration of the game. Now let's pull up the weather report and the forecast for Sunday's matchup. Obviously, as I noted, going to take place Sunday, September 28th. The high is going to be 91 degrees. Humidity, 70%. UV index, 9 of 11. The low, 74 degrees, but we're not going to talk about that because it won't matter for when this game is taking place. I will say this. For late September, for this game being played in the middle of the day, this is somewhat of a win for the Eagles because these temperatures are going to be somewhat manageable. As for how the Eagles have fared so far the first 3 weeks of the year, it has been a roller coaster. It has been exciting, but every week the Eagles have celebrated a dub. 24-20 win to kick off the 2025 NFL season against the Dallas Cowboys at home. Then the Eagles went on the road, took down Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs 20-17. They held on in that one as well. And then they scored 26 unanswered points to stun the Rams, a second-half flurry. Jalen Hurts played like an MVP. The Jordan Davis blocked field goal. Big boy returned for a touchdown. Pandemonium at the Link. Birds win 33-26 to take down a really good Rams team. I would say that all of these wins are quality wins. I know the Cowboys got dump trucked by the Chicago Bears in week 3, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dallas can win 9 games this year. As for the Buccaneers, there has been a constant with how they've won these games. Baker Mayfield has been awesome late, and he's been incredibly clutch. And like Philadelphia, they've played in all one-score games. 23-20 win on the road against the Falcons in week 1, a 20-19 comeback against the Texans in the final minutes in week 2 on Monday Night Football, and then a 29-27 win over the Jets. They survived a field goal getting blocked thanks to Baker Mayfield driving the team down after that field goal block. And Baker has played big-time clutch football. The last 2 years, no doubt about it, he has been a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. He has really good mobility, really good arm strength, a lot of mental toughness, plays with confidence and a lot of swagger. He can complete passes all over the field, and he is a gamer. He never backs away from a challenge. For the Eagles to finally have success against the Buccaneers, for the Eagles to take down Baker Mayfield, this is what they can't do on Sunday. Do not blitz Baker Mayfield. If you do, he will burn you. In 2024, he was blitzed a league high 214 times with Liam Cohen as his offensive coordinator. And he carved up those defenses when he was facing pressure. 133 of 180. He completed 73.9% of his passes, more than 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. In week 3, this past Sunday, Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes, they like to blitz a lot. That was the MO for Aaron Glenn in Detroit. New York blitzed Baker 40% of the time. They paid for it. And he had another game-winning drive late. He had a passer rating of 101.7. Usually, Vic Fangio doesn't blitz a lot. This year, he's relied on the blitz more because the Eagles' pass rush a little bit more unproven. But you can't blitz Baker in this game. Otherwise, he will carve you up. He also does such a great job of getting rid of the football quickly. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us, by the way. We go live for every single Eagles game here on Eagles Now, and we're doing it once again. Eagles-Buccaneers watch party. We'll do another pregame show. We'll be live during the game. It's the best place to experience an Eagles game outside of being at the actual game. And how about this? 30 subscribers away from 130K if you want the best Eagles coverage every day, year-round, right here on YouTube. From yours truly, lock us in and subscribe today. As for how the Buccaneers stack up on both sides of the ball, offensively, 12th in points per game, 24 an outing, 322.3 yards per game. That ranks 15th, smack dab in the middle. 5 yards per play, that is 22nd. They haven't generated a ton of explosive plays. They're okay on third downs, 41.4% conversion rate. That ranks 14th. They have struggled in the red zone, 44.4% there. That ranks 25th. On defense, we think of Todd Bowles as being a great defensive mind. He is, but sometimes the defensive results for Tampa Bay the last few years have been a little bit up and down. This year, they've been good in some areas, bad in other areas. 17th in scoring, 22 points per game. 11th in yards per game given up at 297. 14th in yards per play at 5. But what's critical here, they get off the field on third downs, a 31.4% conversion rate for the opposition. That's fantastic. And when the opposition gets inside the red zone, they're only giving up a touchdown less than 43% of the time. Whereas the Eagles this year are 7 of 7, I believe, or 8 of 8 offensively in the red zone. They've been perfect. And so that's going to be a big matchup in this game. You flip the page to the Eagles sideline here. Offensively, points per game, 25.7, despite them struggling at moments this year. 27th in yards per game. We want to see them be more consistent there. 27th in yards per play. Still need to do a better job of generating explosives. But on third downs, Jalen Hurts has been really good, leading the Eagles to a 43.9% conversion rate. And then the red zone offense has been perfect. A lot of that because of the brotherly shove and tush push. Todd Bowles likes it, even though the Buccaneers voted to ban it. He said, I'm a fan of creativity. You can't penalize a team for doing something well. And so I like what Bowles said there. I will also say this. The Buccaneers have been the most consistent team in the NFL at stopping the tush push. A big reason for that, Vita Vea in the middle. Well, the Bucs also just made a very interesting move right before we pressed record on this show. They re-signed Desmond Watson, the defensive tackle out of Florida, who's 464 pounds. Look out for him to be active on Sunday. Defensively for the Eagles, they have only given up 14 points in the second half of games so far this year. 7 came early in the third quarter against the Rams after the Jalen Hurts strip sack. 7 came against the Chiefs in garbage time. Outside of that, they've pretty much been flawless. 15 in points per game under Vic Fangio, 18th in yards per game, 18th in yards per play, 21st on third downs, and 7th in the red zone. To the injury report for the Buccaneers and the Eagles, the Bucs a little bit banged up. They are listing wide receiver Mike Evans as questionable with a hamstring injury. More on that in a moment, though. Wide receiver Chris Godwin, questionable with an ankle. He hasn't played this year, nor has Tristan Wirfs because of a late training camp preseason surgery on his knee. Defensive lineman Logan Hall, questionable with a groin. And then defensive lineman Kalijah Cansey, who a lot of people were expecting to break out this year after he was really good last year on IR with a pec injury. As for Mike Evans, this is a break for the Eagles, of course. He's expected to miss multiple weeks because of the hamstring injury that he suffered on Sunday. He's had some hamstring issues in the past. This hamstring injury is not as bad as last year's, which sidelined him for 3 games, but he's expected to be out for a bit, and that's a big break for Philadelphia. On the Eagles injury report, we don't have as many specifics here because teams release their injury updates at different times throughout the week. Lane Johnson, though, went out early in that game against the Rams because of a neck stinger. He is expected to play. The status is unknown and somewhat in doubt for 2 of the Eagles' top cornerbacks. Adoree Jackson with the groin. Jacorian Bennett got injured somehow. He made a fantastic play on the Jordan Davis blocked field goal, leveling the holder so that Big JD could scoop and score. Not sure what that injury is, but we'll get to that a little bit later as well. Wide receiver Darius Cooper getting some snaps on offense, on special teams, has a shoulder injury. And then running back Will Shipley hasn't played since week 1 because of an oblique injury. Coming up next here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, continue to hang out here with us. You don't want to miss the heat that we're bringing to you. And if you're a Buccaneers fan watching the show, type me down in the comment section. I hope that you're enjoying the preview as well. But on the other side, my keys to the game and how the Eagles can end their losing spell to the Buccaneers. I have 5 things that the Eagles must do in order to be victorious and get that record to 4-0. Fittingly, the sponsor of today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, our friends at Tushy. Remember producer Trace Gerard? This is his favorite sponsor, and it's ours as well. You can save big on Tushy today by using the code CHAT at hellotushy.com/chat. Chase, What is Tushy? I gotcha. It is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Tushy Wave instantly modernizes your daily routine and bathroom with a super sleek seat plus 2 separate front and rear nozzles for the most complete clean. It also features a soft close lid and seat that's slam-proof for a gentle, luxurious finish. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. The DIY install is extremely easy. This is daily decadence with practical benefits. Over half the people who wash with Tushy soothe their hemorrhoids, and 9 out of 10 people reduce itching and discomfort. Very easy to use. Instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient: fresh water. How awesome is that? It gives you 2-in-1 benefits, reducing irritation and preventing micro tears with soothing water instead of scratchy toilet paper or damaging wet wipes. Remember, a-hole, only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners, our viewers, get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat. Use that code CHAT. Fits 95% of toilets, 8.5-minute do-it-yourself install, fresh as tap water, no outlet needed. Gonna put that link for all of the real ones down below in the comment section and in the show notes of today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, all right, here we go. Can't wait for this part of the show. I always love doing this with our previews. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now. My name is Chase Sr. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And coming up, a huge matchup on Sunday between the 3-0 Eagles and the 3-0 Buccaneers. And what I want to get into here, my keys to the game. The Eagles will beat the Buccaneers if they do these 5 following things. And let's begin here. Philadelphia cannot blitz Baker Mayfield too often on Sunday. He gets rid of the ball so quickly, and over his career, he has gotten better and better and better at diagnosing what the defense is doing, and he carves up defenses when they blitz him. And over the last 2 years, going into this year, Baker Mayfield undoubtedly has been a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And one of my bold predictions across the NFL this year was that he was going to be top 10 in MVP voting. The Buccaneers are 3-0 because of his late clutch heroics at the end of games. He has had to put the team on his back, and he has lifted them to victories in crunch time situations. And a lot of people don't realize just how great Baker was in 2024. He threw for 4,500 yards. He averaged 7.9 yards per attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, he threw 41 touchdowns to 16 picks. That led all quarterbacks in the National Football League. And for a guy who's 6'1", 215, a little bit shorter, but he sees the field well, he processes well, he can throw with a rifle, he throws with timing, touch, and anticipation, he can create plays with his legs, he's a really good athlete, we saw it at Oklahoma, and I just love the fire, the swagger, the confidence that he plays with. So far to start this year, the completion percentage is down a little bit at 60%, but he's making good decisions with the pill. 5 touchdowns, no picks. He's thrown for 382 yards in the first 3 games. Also, keep in mind, this is his 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. And going back to that original point, bad things happen when you blitz Baker Mayfield. Say that 10 times fast. In 2024, he was blitzed a league high 214 times. He fared very well. He completed 133 of 180 passes for nearly a completion percentage of 74%, nearly 1,500 yards, 16 tutties, and 4 interceptions. In week 3, the Jets didn't learn that lesson. They blitzed Baker 40% of the time, and he had a passer rating in that game of 101.7, and he helped the Buccaneers win it late with another clutch performance in the 4th quarter. The Buccaneers so far, look at all of these games. They have been close. They have been decided on the margins, and the Buccaneers have had to come back in all of these games, and they've won them all because of number 6. Baker Mayfield. 23-20 win over the Falcons, 20-19 win on the road against the Texans, Monday Night Football, and then a 29-27 win over the Jets. Vic Fangio knows ball, just like I know ball. He said this about Baker on Tuesday. I've always liked Baker Mayfield. He's a good quarterback. Why these teams that had him didn't keep him, I don't know, but GMs make mistakes just like coaches do. Remember, he gave the Browns their first playoff win since the early 90s when Bill Belichick was the head coach in Cleveland. Went on the road, beat Pittsburgh. And then the Browns shortly thereafter ship him away. He goes to Carolina. Steve Wilkes got rid of him, and then Baker Mayfield shoved it in his face and delivered him an L in a Buccaneers win. Key to the game number 2. We talk about the Eagles and Vic Fangio and the Eagles defense not blitzing Baker. Well, you know what Todd Bowles is going to do, especially against Jalen Hurts. He is going to send pressure, and he is going to blitz a lot. Routinely and consistently, the Buccaneers are one of the highest blitzing teams in the NFL under Todd Bowles, who is a Temple University alum, played great college football for the Owls. Yours truly went to Temple. He's also a fan of the tush push. I like him, but I don't like him this week. And it's time for the Eagles to take down the Bowles-led Buccaneers because he has owned Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. As far as those blitz numbers here in 2025, the Buccaneers blitz 38.9% of the time. Second highest rate in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts has not played well against Todd Bowles-led defenses. He has not played well in his career against Tampa Bay. You look at the numbers here. October 14th of 2021, Hurts was 12 of 26, 115 yards, a touchdown, a pick. He was sacked twice. September 25th of 2023, the Eagles actually won this game. Hurts, 23 of 37, 277 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, sacked once. In September of 2024, this time last year, bad game for Hurts and the offense. 18 of 30, 158 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 sacks. Now, Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Lane Johnson did not play in that game. But Hurts, he was under siege, and the Eagles' offensive line did not handle the blitz looks well. In the playoffs against the Bucs, similar results, right? Hurts has also struggled here. In the wild card round, 2022, this is the 2021 season, 23 of 43 against Tom Brady, 258 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, sacked twice. And then to end what was an embarrassingly bad end of the year in 2023, 25 of 35 in the Super Wildcard game, 250 yards, a touchdown, and 3 sacks. Todd Bowles has had the edge on Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and hopefully that doesn't happen again on Sunday. Key to the game number 3. I want Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni to listen to A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I thought they made extremely valid points, and what they said was well said after that heroic Rams victory, when the Eagles' offense was horrible in the first half and they were excellent in the second half because of some in-game adjustments. They were more aggressive. They spread things out. They had success with the 3-by-1 sets, and Jalen Hurts played like a bona fide MVP. Hurts after recess, 16 of 22, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, a rating of 140.9. For the game, 4 total touchdowns. And a big reason why the Eagles' offense and Hurts got it together after the break, they finally started targeting A.J. Brown, who in that second half also came alive. 10 targets, 6 catches, a $109, the back shoulder ball for a touchdown, beautiful throw from Jalen Hurts. The DB definitely flopped, and A.J.'s ability to make big plays on third down and pick up yak, just huge in that ball game. And Hurts said this after the game. We've played so many styles of football where in that first half, we've got to get out of this playing not to lose mentality. We've got to come out aggressive and play our game. You saw our game in the second half. It's kind of a message to the coaching staff here. So was this from AJ. Me personally, I truly believe we've got so many good players on this team, and at times you can feel like we're being conservative, and I don't think it should be like that. Let your killers do their thing, play fast, play aggressive. Not saying we haven't been, but me personally, that's what I would like. Nick Sirianni, on top of that, also said we have to stop, and we learned our lesson with this, letting the defense dictate what we do on offense. Well, sometimes with this Todd Bowles defense, when they're blitzing so much, offenses can let the defense dictate what they do offensively. They can play scared. Eagles can't play scared offensively in this game. That's another huge key. Number 4, cornerback 2 could be an issue for Philadelphia in this game because 2 of their top outside corners, outside of Quinyon Mitchell, are injured. Adoree Jackson, hurt. Jacorian Bennett, hurt. And their status for Sunday is unknown. Jason Dumas of 6ABC with this report here. I'm told both Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett are dealing with injuries that could keep them out against the Buccaneers. That's a loss for the Eagles, of course. If they can't play, it'll be Keely Ringo and Mac McWilliams on the outside. And you already know, Baker Mayfield is going to be cognizant of that, and he's going to target whoever is playing cornerback 2. But the Eagles did get a big break in the lead up to this game because Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans, one of the best wide receivers of all time, he's gone over 1,000 yards every year that he's been in the NFL. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's expected to miss multiple weeks because of the hamstring injury that he suffered against the Jets on Sunday. This hamstring ailment, not as bad as last year's, which sidelined him for 3 games, but he's expected to be out for a bit. The Buccaneers do have weapons outside of Mike Evans, but they're most likely going to be without Chris Godwin as well after breaking that ankle last year and that ugly injury that he suffered earlier in the year. Another key to this game, the Eagles are going to have to tackle well. I really like the Buccaneers' 2 leading backs. Bucky Irving, year 2, Rachaad White, who's more leaned on as a pass-catching back out of the backfield, but they are both similar players in that they run physical, they run through arm tackles, they make guys miss, and they pick up yards after contact. And that can really be deflating for a defense when you cover things up so well, but you don't tackle well. So the Eagles are going to have to tackle well in one-on-one situations and in space. Emeka Egbuka, a little bit banged up, but he did play last week in the cream popsicle jerseys, which are clean. The rookie out of Ohio State, a really good player. The Buccaneers also have a really good tight end in Cade Otton, who always annihilates the Eagles. Against the Birds, he's become Baker Mayfield's best friend. And then Sterling Shepard having a pretty good year for the Bucs. I believe he's averaging about 15 yards per catch. Number 5, special teams matter. And you can't allow special teams to lose you games. The Eagles need to clean up their kickoff returns. It was a joke what we saw against the Rams on Sunday at the Link. Joshua Carty was hitting these low line drive knuckleballs, and whether it was Tank Bigsby, whether it was John Mechie, they couldn't field a kick, and it mattered. It nearly cost Philadelphia the game. The offense was struggling, but special teams made matters worse. The average starting field position for the Eagles offense on Sunday against the Rams, the 24-yard line. The Rams' average starting field position, the 42-yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, I failed elementary algebra at Temple University. Me and Todd Bowles weren't there for math. We were there to learn ball, but that's a difference of 18 yards. Can't happen, and that gave the Rams a huge edge, and that's another reason why this Eagles defense deserves so much credit, because they bent, they did not break, they were backed up on the average starting field position going up against that Rams offense, and they gave up a lot of field goals, but not touchdowns. And Michael Clay addressed this, special teams coordinator, and he's one of the top special teams coordinators in the NFL. He says he anticipates other teams trying to kick knuckleballs at the Eagles, but replicating it the way the Rams do is not easy. Bring a kicker in who kicks some knuckleballs this week and figure it out. Now, the Eagles did try to address this week. They signed Xavier Gipson, who has 44 career returns. He's been a solid return guy for the Jets, and then he was let go recently here in September by the Giants. 5'9", $189, a 2023 UDFA out of Stephen F. Austin with the Jets from 2023 to 2025. He had the game-winning punt return for a touchdown on opening night when Aaron Rodgers made his debut and tore his Achilles against the Buffalo Bills. Huge play at MetLife Stadium that got the crowd rocking. He was with the Giants in camp, but then he was let go. He's been used as a gadget guy, as a wideout. It's not why the Eagles are bringing him in. They're bringing him in, sign him to the active roster, and they let go of Kenyon Green to be the return specialist. As a gadget guy, 27 catches, 268 yards. He has 3 total touchdowns in his career. One as a receiver, one as a runner, and then one as a return guy. With that, it's time. Predict the score. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A great matchup here in Week 4 in Tampa. I think the Eagles are motivated for this game. I think they're going to be better prepared. I like how they're going to Tampa early to get acclimated with the heat. I think the Buccaneers, while they've been impressive, winning their 3 games by 1 score, and Baker Mayfield has been awesome and clutch at the end of those games, they've showed some leaky valves and they showed some holes, and I think the Eagles are a better, deeper team, and they can exploit and expose the Buccaneers to a certain degree. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's a close game between 2 of the top teams in the NFC. Eagles win 28-26. Go Birds.